Hello and welcome everyone. How are you all? Uh, let's start in 2 minutes. All students may join and then we'll start. I'm fine too. Today is day 4 of strategic business leadership workshop. So we have come across day 4 now. Let everyone join. Let's wait for 5 more minutes. Yes, let's wait for 5 more minutes and then we'll start once all the participants have joined. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, please. Okay, so I guess let's start in today's class. Our today's class agenda have already been shared with you. I have already shared the agenda of today's class. In today's class, we'll be doing the SWOT model. We'll be doing one of the most favorite models of mine, that is the TOES analysis and SFA framework. And the bestest thing, the bestest thing that I will do in today's class will be the sorry, I'm eating something as well. The bestest thing that I'll do in today's class will be the examiner report. So we will read one of the examiner's report as well in today's class. I guess there are some students who still want to join, but they have not yet joined. So Let me check them first. Okay. Okay, so let's start today's class. Basically, in today's class, it's day 4. Number of point and length of your answer. One of the most important questions that you guys keep on asking. So, how much should we write? We will start with the SFA framework. Um, I don't know why there are students who might join after prayer break. So now I'm starting with the most important topic of SFA framework. Anyone wants to have some? So SFA framework, we will start with the introduction of SFA framework first, and then we will go with the SORT model, and that is obviously strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And then we will be going through the TOES model, which is a further explanation of SORT model only. Then we'll go through the financial projections. The SBL March June paper will be done, and financial ratios of SBL September December 2020 BCO. Question number 1B. I'll try to do this as well. And then last but not the least, we'll be going through the examiner report. All those who want to join the WhatsApp group, I have already shared my number. Majority of you will be having my cell number, so you can WhatsApp me in order to join the WhatsApp groups for September 2021 attempt. Tomorrow will be the day 5, the last day, and after that, I'll be sharing small videos. I'll keep on communicating with you all till the last day, so that major benefit can be attained, and I want to see you all clearing this exam. In today's class, the most important tip is the number of point and the length of your answers. Now, this is the question that is generally being asked by every single student, and every single person who is attempting this paper. Now, you need to remember two different things. There are two types of marks for each question. The first type of marks that you are getting is on the technical marks. You know it very well. We will be getting the 80% on technical and the rest 20% as professional marks. There are total marks, which basically constitutes because of the technical and professional marks. Generally, one valid point will carry 2 marks. I have been repeating this again and again. Hence, divide total marks to calculate the number of points. So if the total marks are 8, then how many number of points will you be writing? Can anyone explain? Yes, sir, obviously. If the total marks are 8, we'll be writing 4 number of points. If the total marks are 15, now this is something different. Either how many points will you write? You will write an extra point. Yes, you will write 8 points. Exception. Again and again, I'm repeating this thing again and again, so that this thing comes into your mind. Don't confuse yourself. There might be students you will be meeting on the examination day. Oh, my sir told me to write as much points as I can. My sir told me to write as little points as I can. So there will be two different individuals meeting you on the examination day. Just tell them, okay, good to go with your sir, and you also good to go with your sir. I believe on what I am explaining, on what Mr. Sheikh Bilalak, that is SBH, is explaining to you all. You need to write two. You will be getting 2 marks for one valid point. Obviously, there is an exception. I've told you before. If the question requires to identify weakness and give recommendation, or identify risk and give recommendation, then the marks will be divided into 3, and then the marks will be divided into 4. Total marks divided by 4. Weakness plus recommendation plus impact will make you divide the marks by 4. Maximum length of your answer. Now, this is the question that you guys keep on asking me. Just make sure your point paragraph is not too short and not too long. Minimum 3 lines, maximum 6 lines. You can write from minimum 3 lines to maximum 6 lines. Do you get this? Is everyone getting what I'm trying to explain right now? You can write maximum of 6 lines and a minimum of 3 lines, not more than that, not less than that. In today's class, what we are going through is the profession. Okay, so the SFA framework. Why do we use SFA framework? My voice is not clear. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, please. Am I audible and visible? Okay, okay. Perfect. Okay, so it says SFA framework. Now, this is something which many of the students are confusing, and I see, yes, to evaluate any project or acquisition. Very good. Now, many of the students find this framework to be confusing. Now, I have devised this handout in such a way that you will not now no more be confused by this framework. Why? Let's look at this. This is used when to evaluate the proposed strategy. Number one, when you are evaluating the proposed strategy, you will use SFA model. However, in exam, you should only use when we plan to acquire another company, either in the same country or in another country. For example, evaluate the proposal of acquiring ABC company situated in XYZ country. Evaluate the option of opening a new restaurant into another country, into another city. Evaluate the proposal of adding a new product to our existing product line. These are the three areas. These are the three areas where you will be using the SFA framework. These are the three areas. And Ajay, one more thing. Have I shared yesterday's handout with you all? Did I share the yesterday's handout on your group? No. At least you should have reminded me. Okay, I will share. I'll share it today. No worries. I'll share it today. Okay, so over here it says that you need to just a minute. Yes, Shahrukh. Yes, Shahrukh. Such a big question. Sir, today I've gone through the solution of CC company. And in slide presentation question, it was mentioned in the examiner report that 2 mark each one bullet point along with the notes. But you said 5 marks per point. No, this was misunderstood by the student, and I have made it very clear in my previous class. Let me make this clear before it get out of our hand. See, just a second. I didn't said that you will be making 5 marks for 1 point. I said you will be getting 5 marks for one slide. That is 1 point included in that slide. I'm just explaining in a minute. Just a second, please. I'm writing it in front of you. You will get a better idea. Don't confuse over this. Yes, you are perfectly fine. Examiner is saying that you will get 2 marks per point, but my viewpoint is that the entire box that you are creating will be created for 5 marks. I'm just explaining it in more detail. Just a second. Let me open my PDF annotator. Don't get confused over this thing. This isn't something to be confused about. Just a second, please. Okay, so over here, I'm writing what I basically meant by saying that you will be getting 5 marks, 5 to 6 mark per point. See, if you are being told to make a presentation slide that gives a viewpoint, let's suppose the question says, we have just yet started. The question is stating to make presentation slides using an appropriate model for proposed acquisition strategy. For proposed acquisition strategy, right? So now, let's suppose you are going to use, is there option available for presentation slide in CB format, or it was ready made by examiner? Obviously, there is a constructive response option available for the presentation slide. We are discussing that how many points will we be writing if the question is of a presentation slide. Now remember, over here it says that you have to make appropriate model on the growth strategy, comma, note, make reasonable number of. Now this is the question, and the question is of 15 marks. Now you be very vigilant when I'm explaining this thing. This is the first and the last time when I'm explaining how many points will you be writing when I talk about the presentation slide, right? Now over here, it says that you'll have to make presentation slide using appropriate model. Let's suppose the appropriate model which we are reading right now in today's class that we'll be doing is the SFA model for proposed acquisition strategy. Note, make reasonable number of presentation slides. So we need to make reasonable number of presentation slides. So if I'm going to make SFA model and the marks are 15 marks, let's suppose 12 for the technical and 3 for professional marks. So what you will do, you will make one presentation slide explaining suitability, having 3 different points. This means one presentation slide is of 5 marks and having 3 different points. Along with these 3 different points, the notes will include first para, second para, and maybe a third para as well. But you can still end at the two paragraphs. Is it equally good? But as you are explaining 3 points, so you will write three different notes on these paragraphs, right? So this means suitability will have one presentation slide and accompanying notes. What I meant was that 1 point will accompany 5 marks. So if they say that you will have to make appropriate number of presentation slides, so you will consider 5 marks for one slide. But now there might be a question that is arising, although it's a common sense question, but still, sir, if the examiner is asking for a 6 marks question, will I be making two slides? No, obviously 5 or 6 marks are only for one presentation slide. You will try to increase the number of line in notes. Do you get this? Basically, I tried making it clear yesterday as well, but I guess there was some confusion. So it's good that we have discussed this right now. So if you are making 15, if you are solving a 15 marks question and you're using the model for sustainability, feasibility, and acceptability, you will be making 3 slides and 3 different notes, each slide having 3 different points. 1 point is of 2 marks, and trust me, this is not being told by me. This is being evaluated by the examiner. If you can see, Mr. Shahrukh has given us he said that he was reading the examiner comment of CC company, I guess. Yes. His question is, sir, today I have gone through the solution of CC company, and in slide presentation question, it was mentioned by the examiner report that 2 marks for each one bullet point uh, along with the note. But you said basically his question was that one bullet point will have 2 marks and one slide will have 5 to 6 marks. Don't confuse yourself over this thing, right? Do you all get this? Is it crystal clear to you all? Okay, so now we can move towards the SFA model, and then we'll go for namaz break. So SFA model is to evaluate the proposed strategy. SFA model is to evaluate the proposed strategy. However, in exam, now this is very important. Exam you should only use when we plan to acquire another company, either in the same country or in another country. So if you plan to acquire another company, either in the same country or in another country, then you will be applying the SFA model. Example, these are some of the example. Evaluate the proposal of acquisition of ABC company situated in XYZ country. Evaluate the option of opening a new restaurant in another country, and evaluate the proposal of adding new product line to our existing product line. Suitability. Let's just quickly go through the suitability area, and then we will go for namaz break. We'll go for prayer break. Suitability focus on external factors. Now, this is one of the most misunderstood. Majority of students are keep on asking me, sir, or should we start this after namaz break? What do you say? May I start suitability now and then give you namaz break, or should we start after namaz break? Whatever you say, because this is an important topic. After namaz break, after namaz break. Okay, okay. So okay, so what we can do, we can have namaz break for 15 minutes. We can have prayer breaks for 15 minutes, and then we will start with this topic. We are having prayer breaks for 15 minutes, and then we'll resume with this topic. No issues. Okay, good to go. I'll resume after 15 minutes. Okay, so are we all back? Yes, please. Are we all back, guys? Okay, so let's move forward. Uh, Now we need to go through the, we have seen, now I'm starting with the suitability factors. Now I am starting with the suitability factors, and we will go through the suitability, feasibility, and acceptability factors. And in these factors, we will be seeing how to develop these areas, right? So basically, when I talk about, okay, so over here it says that suitability factors will basically be focusing on the external factors. These are just the external factors that the company will be going through. And within these factors, within these factors, in para one, you will include what is the basically when I'm going for an acquisition. In para one, you will focus on what are the areas of your own country. For example, in our own country, there is political stability, there is a mountainous area. In our own country, there is, let's suppose, there is barren land. The demand of our products is very high. We are leading company. We are the sixth largest in sales. We are technologically very competent. You will inform the individuals about your own company. And in paragraph 2, you will inform what is happening in the targeted country. For example, you are about to enter into the targeted company, the political areas of those targeted company, what are the societal values of those targeted company, what are the areas that will affect our business in terms of the external factors. And in paragraph number 3, you will tell that if we acquire the targeted company, if we acquire the targeted company, what will be the impact? How will we be bringing the change? Yes, if the examiner is asking you to evaluate, how will we be bringing the change? Let's suppose if I'm acquiring the targeted company. Obviously, when I talk about the evaluation, we will evaluate what are the pros and cons of our home company and what are the pros and cons of the targeted company. And ultimately, how will we be developing those cons into pros when we are acquiring that targeted company. So there were many students who were yesterday asking me, sir, what we will be writing in the suitability paragraph. So you will be writing the external factors, the factors that are not within the control of the factors that are not within the control of the company. Rather, these are the factors that are outside the company, and this will include 3 paragraphs. Let's suppose in the first paragraph you will be introducing about your own company. In second paragraph you will be introducing the current situation of the targeted company, and in the third paragraph you will be letting people know that if we acquire the targeted company, how will we be bringing the change within that targeted company? Is it clear to everyone? Because this is something misunderstood by many students. So I would want you all to please make it very clear to you. Is it clear to you all? Yes, please. Are we clear on suitability factors? Okay. So now feasibility. Now this is very important. Feasibility focus on internal factors. Feasibility focus on internal factors. These are those that are basically focusing on the internal factors. Now, paragraph number 1 will include human resource or expertise. Do we have acquisition experience? Do we have that acquisition experience? Internal experience. Let's suppose, do we have that experience or not? Now, this is the question that you will ask yourself. Do we have that experience? This is the question that you'll be asked. You'll be asking from yourself of managing smaller, similar business. Do we have that experience of working in overseas country? That obviously this paragraph will only be included if you are going for an overseas acquisition. Will the evaluation be based on the Potter Diamond model when assessing? No, it will depend upon country to country. You will not be specifically using Potter Diamond model because you are using the SFA model. You will not be using the Potter Diamond model. However, you can take help from the Diamond model. You can use Diamond model at the back end, but you will not be stating that according to Potter Diamond model, these are the factors. No, but yes, you can use diamond model, you can use the pestle model. However, you will under the heading of the suitability, feasibility and acceptability. So the first thing, that the first paragraph of feasibility will include that do you have that experience in past of this particular acquisition. The first paragraph is, do you have that acquisition experience? Number one. Do you have the managing experience of managing similar business, or is it a business which is going to be a diversification, which is going to be an unrelated diversification? And number three, do you have that experience of working in an overseas country? Obviously, don't make this blunder that he is moving from one city to another city, or he is moving from one outlet within the city to another outlet within the city, and you say, okay, now this is an overseas acquisition and merger. This will clearly be a blunder. Then in the second paragraph, you will be writing the financial resources. Financial resources. Do we have those funds to acquire the company? And look for gearing ratio. Do you have those financial resources? I have been stating this. I've been stating this hundred and thousands of times. Don't if you are calculating the acquiring companies ratio, it will be included in the feasibility option, right? And if you are going for the if you are calculating the ratios of within the internal factors, then it will be included in this particular option. Do you get this? Okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. It says now the most important factor over here is in paragraph number 3, you will let the people know about technology and brands. In paragraph number 3, you will let the people know about technology and brand. I'm repeating my answer once again. I'm repeating what I just said. See, when I talk about the feasibility, you will be using internal resources, that is experience from the past of such acquisition, number one, experience of managing similar business, number two, and experience from of working in overseas country, number three. In second paragraph, you will include that do you have those funds to acquire another country company? Do you have those funds of acquiring another company? And obviously, you will be going for gearing ratios. You will be trying to evaluate, you'll be trying to take over the gearing ratios, and ultimately you will be getting an idea of that if you have those funds available or not. And last paragraph, that is the third paragraph of feasibility, will include technology and brand. Now, what do you mean by technology and what do you mean by brand? Basically, is it a tech-based industry? Can we transform ourselves into tech-based industry? Is it a brand-oriented industry? What about patent rights, so on and so forth? Then, last part, acceptability. Focus on the financials of targeted company. I have told you before, if you are evaluating, I'm explaining it in a very detailed manner. If you are evaluating that do you have those internal financial resources, then you will be evaluating under the heading of feasibility. if you are evaluating that the targeted company's financial statement shows a growing result, then you will be entering those areas into acceptability. Focus on financials of targeted company. For example, paragraph number 1. Will shareholder accept the proposed strategy? If it's a family owned or a private company managed by the owners, acceptable. If will it be acceptable? If it is a listed company, then the shareholder will accept if it has positive or reasonable NPV, obviously. Paragraph number 2. If the targeted company is based in another country, then we have to consider any cultural differences. And paragraph number 3, review financial projections, ratios of the targeted companies. For example, I have done in my regular sessions, I have done questions in which there were different ratios given of the targeted company. And it used to say that we invest a lot in training of the individual, but the targeted company is not investing in training of the individuals. So there are different types of ratios that you will be including when you are going for financial projections. Sir, if business is family business and we are expanding our business overseas on which we have partners, so we will be highlighting this in feasibility. Yes, obviously. You will be, yes, you will be highlighting in feasibility. Any question up till now for suitability, feasibility, and acceptability? Yes, please. Feel free to ask me. No questions? Yes, yes, Sarah.
Sir, the former paper we were doing for the former paper we were doing specimen one, in that
Yes.
we were provided with two financials. So one was for suitability and one was for feasibility. So we have to do both, right? To because there were two
One was
financials,
there were two financial statements, one of our own company and
and
one
then
of the
one
targeted company.
they were doing diversification strategy to acquire the other company. So we are supposed to do two separate because feasibility
Yes,
goes to the same company, existing company.
yes. But major concern will be the company's financial statement which you are acquiring right now. So our major concern and major depiction will be on you will be using your own company's financial statement to some extent. Don't start calculating too much ratios. Obviously, if they are given the financial statement, they must have given some ratios as well. And they
Sir,
have given the
they already provided the
yes,
profitability. Everything was provided. We just have to
yes. So
interpret.
yes, you just need to see. You won't be calculating to according to two financial statement. As per the question that you are asking, they have already provided you with your company's financial statement ratios and also with the targeted company's financial statement ratios. So you just need to align them in some such a way that it looks beautiful. Yes, your company's financial statement will go into the feasibility option, and the other company financial statement or the company that you are acquiring financial statement will go into the suitability option. Sir, shareholder. Yes, please, please ask questions. Whoever is raising hand, you can ask questions.
So I want to ask that should we highlight cultural difference in acceptability
Yes,
portion?
cultural differences will be highlighted in acceptability.
Cultural difference like social issues are will be highlighted in
Societal
this,
differences.
and
Societal difference
political issues should be highlighted
will
in
be
this portion.
highlighted in no. Political issues will be highlighted in suitability. Is it suitable to go into this country? Economical to go into this country? Each and everything will be highlighted in suitability. Only the cultural differences will be highlighted in the acceptability option.
What about
So
technological?
technological, obviously, technological differences will also be highlighted in the feasibility. See,
Feasibility.
everything that relates to the financial statements or something which goes with the monies aspect, we will be highlighting in the feasibility option. In most cases, family members are shareholders. Yes, but what is the question? Sir, shareholder would not question anything regarding family owned business? Why will the shareholder be asking questions? Shareholder means family owned business, right? The family members. In SBL SFA framework is tested yet? No, but there are chances of it being tested from now onwards, obviously. Okay, so let's move forward. Any further question in SFA framework? It's not yet completed, although, but still, I find I find normally students find it very difficult to follow the SFA framework, but now I guess uh, you won't be confusing anything in this regard. Now, will
Sir,
the
question is, sir.
एक minute. Will the acceptability only be considered in terms of the shareholders, or will it be considered in terms of the widest stakeholders such as? No, it will be considered in the wider stakeholders community. But when we are talking about the acceptability, the acceptability generally goes in terms of the profitability, and in terms of, for example, if you are investing into something, you consider it to be acceptable or not. This means that let's suppose that you have two different options and you are trying to find out the best option. So which option will be acceptable? This is the question that goes in this way. So yes, majority of time it will be only the shareholders. Uh, yes, Hamza, you were asking question, please.
अच्छा सर, बस एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है. शेयर होल्डर वुड नॉट एक्सेप्ट एनी प्रोजेक्ट, कहाँ लिखा था सर ऊपर?
Shareholder will not accept any project. Will shareholder accept the project?
सर,
This
शेयर
one.
होल्डर विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट एनी प्रोजेक्ट ऑफ पब्लिक ओन्ड कंपनी without questioning, but shareholder will accept the project of family owned business. Why sir, state acceptance?
Where is it written?
ऊपर है सर, acceptability में.
Hmm. Will the shareholder accept? If the family owned business is managed by the owners, then acceptable. If listed companies and shareholders will accept if.
Sir, why no questioning by shareholder in family owned business? They are giving straight acceptance.
Bhai, he is saying that family owned business is owned by the family members. So they are the shareholders. So it means that will the shareholder accept the proposed strategy? This means if in family owned or private company managed by the owners, then acceptable. Then is it acceptable? They will consider it to be acceptable or not by the family members, as they are the shareholders themselves. But if we talk about the listed company, then the shareholders are not taking part within the management premises. So the shareholder would want to have certain further knowledge because they are not being taking a part into the management or day-to-day operations. So for a listed company, we will have to give them enhanced, increased financial knowledge to the shareholders. And this will include the NPVs, this will include the ratios. But for a family owned business, as they are taking over the entire business, so they will not only be looking at the financial sectors, but they will have an insight about the business. So it says that in a family owned business, as the family owners are the shareholders, so they will themselves evaluate these strategies as to accept it or not. But for the
Understood sir.
shareholder companies, we will have to ask the shareholders if they are accepting the proposed acquisition or not. Right? Okay, so now it says that conclusion is required. Very important. I'm highlighting the entire paragraph, entire line. It says avoid conclusion if the question does not specifically ask for conclusion. Whenever I'm teaching this, I tell my students that you are about to become the future accountants and auditors, and every single word of yours is worth money. So if the examiner is not asking you to provide conclusion, don't waste your words. If the examiner is not asking you to provide conclusions, don't waste your words. Don't specifically give conclusions and reduce your marks, right? So asking for, you will not be requiring giving the conclusions in SFA framework until and unless told by the examiner himself. If you feel now, this is what do you call it? It's a thief way out, or if you feel that SFA is getting complicated in exam. Now, this is only when you are stuck in your paper and now you feel that you don't know what should you do, and you feel, okay, what should I do? I'm feeling so stressed out because I'm stuck in my paper. I don't know what should I do. So what you will be doing is, if you feel that SFA is getting complicated in exam, it is not compulsory to use SFA. You can use a general approach as well. If you don't, if you cannot, after reading out the entire paper, now this is only when you want to attain passing marks. This is only when you are stuck in your paper and you feel stressed out. This is a thief way out just to score reasonable marks in your exam, not good marks. How? It is not compulsory to use SFA model. I was thinking to uh, delete this line and not to include it because I have explained SFA in a great detail. But still, yesterday when I saw students asking me about, sir, SFA, or how do we deal with SFA? So I thought to add this line once again. In my last attempt, I never added this line and I went without having this line. But now I feel that, okay, if the students are not able to get what SFA framework is, there is a thief way out as well. There's a shortcut as well, but not for getting 100%, 80%, 90% marks. It is not compulsory to use SFA. You can use also a general approach. Now, if you cannot clearly, although this should not be the case, if you cannot clearly bifurcate between suitability, feasibility, and acceptability, and you are confusing where to write the financials, where to write the political, where to write the economical, I'm not able to understand where to write these factors. So what you can do, obviously, if the examiner is specifically demanding for SFA, obviously, you will be going for the SFA model, then there is no thief way out. But if the examiner says to use appropriate model, and you feel that the appropriate model is SFA, but you feel that, okay, I do not know much about the SFA model, and I might end up doing blunders if I apply this model, you can go for a generic model. And what are the generic model? Make sure you cover the following aspects of the proposal. That is external factors, both pros and cons. When I talk about evaluation, internal factors, both pros and cons, that is strength and weaknesses, financial analysis, if the data is being provided. So this is the way where you feel that you can go through this. One more thing that I would want to highlight right now over here is, if suppose you feel that SFA model is not appropriate, or you are not getting the entire set of details to apply SFA model, you can still apply this model. External factors, internal factors, financial factors. If there is no financial factors, then only external and internal factors. If there are financial factors, external, internal, and financial factors. But the best part is, those candidate writing SFA model clearly will get the maximum number of marks, right? Now, what about SWOT analysis? I hope so. I have cleared SFA model as crystal clear as I can. I can basically clear it out to you. And there is a question, sir. Is there any practice question of SFA framework? Yes, I have given practice question in my regular classes. You can go through the last part of my SFA framework handout, and you'll get to know what are the practice questions that I have given. You can practice those questions once again. Now, SWOT model means strength, weakness, opportunities, threat. Strength and weakness are internal factors, opportunities and threats are the external factors. Example, why do we use SWOT analysis? Basically, when we are evaluating the companies internally as well as externally, this is one of the basic model that we are applying. You must be very well aware that in my regular classes, I have applied the Coke with the SWOT model, and we have gone through the pestle and political, economical, social, technological, and ecological factor in combination with the SWOT model as well. But with SWOT model, we have got TOES model. We with SWOT model, we combine together the TOES model, and the TOES model is strength and weakness on the x-axis and opportunities and threat on the y-axis. So the strength and opportunity, that is SO means, if I use this matrix, SO means use your strength to avail opportunities. How do you use your strength to avail opportunities? Basically, it is that, let's suppose I have got a research and development department in a tech-based industry. Use your strength to avail new opportunities. If your research and development department is capable of producing new ideas, generating new products, this will be something this will be something that will add on value to your product. So use your strength to opportunize the opportunities that are available, to crystallize the opportunities that are available. You have a very well developed research and development department. Use that department and make it viable for your own company as well as for your products that you are producing. Then we have weakness and opportunities. Remove your weaknesses to avail opportunity. For example, we are very good in providing services, but we cannot have follow up with our customers. For example, the institute that you are coming into, Tamani School of Accountancy, is giving you utmost opportunity to revise your examination techniques, to do everything. But we are not taking follow up from our students. Now, the fact is that if you are not going for the follow up, this means that you need to remove your weaknesses. You need to remove your weaknesses to avail opportunities. Now, there are thousands and millions and trillions of opportunities that are available to you. Your customer seems to be satisfied when you are providing the services, but your customer becomes dissatisfied once you have provided the services and you are not providing after sales service. So this is your weakness. You need to remove your weakness so that the futuristic opportunity, you have done great in one part of the services. Now you need to improve in the other part of your services as well. Then we have strength and threat. Use your strength to avoid counter threat. For example, our strength is economies of scale. For example, Pepsi company. Why is it so that the Pepsi company, why is it so that there is no competitor of the Pepsi company? We apply TOES model. We generally apply TOES model. Why is it so that the Pepsi company is not getting any competitor? Because Pepsi company have the advantage of economies of scale. Now you need to use your strength to avoid the counter threats, right? The Pepsi company is having that strength of economies of scale, that is bulk quantity buying, and ultimately they are avoiding the threats because no other company can compete in terms of Pepsi company, because Pepsi company is buying raw material in bulk quantity. Pepsi company has the largest production plant, so they have this strength. And there are many companies who arrived into my economy, but within 6 months, they all vanished away. There are many new soft drink beverage companies that came into my economy, but within few days, they ran away or they were all dissolved. Why? Because Because ultimately they were not able to cope up with the economies of scale that the Pepsi company was getting to. When to apply TOES model? What type of question? Obviously, when it will specifically say that you will be applying TOES model, and let's suppose if the scenario is saying to evaluate the internal and external, you can write it down on your registers or somewhere, to evaluate the internal and external factors using an appropriate model and give recommendation on the basis of that model as to how to opportunize, reduce threat, eliminate weaknesses, and strengthen your capabilities. I'm repeating the question once again. What type of question can be asked? Evaluate using an appropriate model for evaluation of internal and external factors. Along with this, give recommendation how to increase strength, avail opportunities, eliminate threats, and reduce weaknesses. Now, if this is the question, obviously the question wordings can be molded into any form, but major wordings will look like this. I can repeat it once again. Evaluate the above given scenario with internal and external factors. I'm repeating it again. Evaluate the above given scenario with internal and external factors while evaluating while evaluating also give while evaluating also give recommendation on how to increase strength, also give recommendation on how to increase strength, reduce weaknesses, avail opportunities, and eliminate threats. Right? Now, strength, weakness, and threat. Remove your weakness to avoid threat. If you feel that you are not tech oriented, let's suppose your employees are not tech immune employees, give them trainings, give them those gadgets, and let them learn what technology is, because technology is the talk of the day. You are having the major market share, you are leading the market from front, but the fact is that due to your weaknesses in the tech based industry, the majority of individuals are not tech oriented individuals. So now you need to focus on giving good gadgets to these individuals so that your individuals can also become the tech oriented individuals. How will you know if the TOES model is required? Oh my God, this is the question that you guys have been asking for the last 5 minutes. A SWOT analysis will be given. How will the TOES model be required? How will the TOES model be required? This is the question that arises into my mind. If the scenario gives SWOT analysis, number one, or you will be required to do SWOT analysis, number two, just go through the list of strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat and link them. Now, my suggestion would be that when you are reading and when you find in the scenario that there is a SWOT analysis being given to you, now listen to me very carefully. When you find in the scenario that there is a SWOT analysis given to you, now what you need to do, you need to find out strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Now, obviously, the scenario will not have given you the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat very obviously. My recommendation is that during reading time, open up the response area, that is, let's suppose Microsoft Word, make your first page as rough work and start copying strength under the heading of strength, weakness under the heading of weakness, opportunities under the heading of opportunities, threat under the heading of threat. This should be done while you are reading your paper. If you are being given with the SWOT analysis, once you are done with this, you have done with the reading. This will facilitate you to make up your TOES model and to make up the model in accordance with the scenario that is being given to you. Right? Do you get this? Is everyone clear about this? Yes, please. Sir, unlike risk, can threat be totally eliminated? No, it cannot be eliminated, obviously. It will be minimized only. Now, financial projection. If financial projection is given regarding a proposed investment, then you must check, mention the following things. Now, this is something which is out of this world. Now, these are the cheat codes that I provided. 5 things. You are being given with the financial projection. You will assume 5 different things. Projection should be based on discounted cash flows. Where if they have given you cash flows, you need to discount them. If they have given you cash flows, you need to discount them. Now, I went through a question. It said that there has been an analysis done of a proposed acquisition, but the previous person who was analyzing the proposed acquisition, he was not competent enough. So he has given you a cash flow on the basis of which the directors are going to take decisions. Now you need to identify the weakness in the cash flow. The first weakness that you will identify is that this cash flow have not yet been discounted. Now they will ask for what will be the impact. You will write the impact will be that time value of money of this proposed acquisition is not taken into account, ultimately leading to a wrong result. Inflation areas are not being taken into account due to the fact that it has not been discounted. Now you will be asked to give recommendation about this. You will say that to calculate the discounted cash flows on the basis of a rational interest rate. Do you get what I'm trying to explain? Is everyone clear about this? Yes, please. Good. Now, calculate a simple payback period. You don't need to find out a cumulative payback period. Just simple payback period should be calculated using a pre-discounted cash flows. Review assumptions. Now, obviously, if they have given you certain assumptions, these are the assumptions. If they have given you certain assumptions, these are the assumptions that you need to review. So you can review them as well for any apparent stupidity and mention in your answer that the adequacy of the assumption need to be revalidated. For example, we are 50% market shareholder, and after acquiring this company, we will become 100% market share holder. And they are telling you at the end of the scenario that there are total 9 competitors. How the hell will you become 100% market share owners? I don't know. You are taking assumption that after acquiring this particular a company, let's suppose you are taking an assumption, the scenario is taking an assumption that after acquiring this particular company, which accounts for 2% of the total sales in our industry, we will become the market leader by adding 15% because we are better than the acquired company. How the hell is it possible? You will take some realistic assumptions. You will write some realistic assumptions. So if the question says that following assumptions have been taken, make sure that you are taking some real value based assumptions and not stupidity assumptions based on stupidities and assumption based on the wrong idea. Do you get this? Yes, guys. Is it clear to you all? Okay, moving further. Good. Mention in your answer that text implication need. I'm reading your question, Afan. Mention in your answer that tax implication need to be considered when you are acquiring when you are acquiring another company in another country. Don't just look at profits. That is profit before tax. There might be differences in tax as well. For example, our economy is charging 10% tax on profit. However, the economy in which we are acquiring, they are charging 50% tax on profit. So even though that proposed acquisition is currently earning 40% more profit than our company, profit before tax than our company, it is not justifiable to acquire that company. Why? Because the extra 40% that is being earned by the other company in the other country is being given to the taxation authority because we are being charged tax on 10%, but the other country is charging tax on those companies at 40% more than our company. So you will have to look at the tax implications as well. Sir, are we required to comment on the limitation of the discounted cash flow technique as well as the mistakes? No, if you are being asked to comment, there might be a question. I'm just having an intuition that let's suppose there is a question, there is a particular question that is being asked to you that a financial analysis have been drafted by an inexperienced accountant and you are required to redraft or you are required to identify the mistake in the financial assessment give implication of these mistakes, and give recommendation. So in that scenario, if you are being specifically asked by the examiner, then you will be providing the mistakes, implication, and the recommendation. Mention in your answer that the sensitivity analysis is to be done. You will not be calculating sensitivity analysis. You will just be mentioning that the sensitivity analysis need to be done. Can we compare inflation rate with the discounted rate to verify the sensible discount rate? No, they will not be giving you inflation rate and discounted rate altogether. You don't need to go into such an insight. They will not be providing you inflation and the discounted rate separately. They will just be providing you the discounted rate. So if you, I'm again telling you the guys that yes, this is normally tested in AFM. Yes. When you are going through the financial projection, you need to go through 5 different things. Sensitivity analysis should be included, tax implication should be included, reviews of the assumption, simple payback period, and a discounted cash flows. Is it clear to you all? Yes, please. I'm asking again and again because I find these topics to be difficult. So I would want you all to have a very clear insight of all these topics. Is it clear? Yes,
जी
guys.
sir.
Good. Now, the report format, I'm repeating the report format once again. Yes, Hasnan. Yes, Hasnan. Give some example of tax implications. Tax implication, I've just given you an example of tax implication that if the taxation rate of our country and the proposed country is different, then you will also highlight that if the taxation amount is higher in the proposed acquisition country, make sure that you are comparing the profit after tax and not profit before tax. Okay, just a second, I'm explaining. You guys have given AFM, you guys have given SBR. Why don't you get what I'm trying to say in terms of tax implications? Let me explain it to you. See, this is our company. It's such a simple example. This is our company. We are earning profit before tax of $100 million. The tax rate is at the rate of 10%, and we are paying 10 rupees of tax. This means that profit after tax is rupees 90. Now this is company B. Now the company B is earning profit before tax of 170 170 rupees, $170, right? Now if we compare, oh my God, company B is such a good company. We should buy this company as quickly as possible. We should go for this acquisition. Don't even ask questions about the acquisition. No, this should not be your answer. Just wait for the tax implication. Company B is operating in, let's suppose, in UK, and we are operating in Afghanistan, where the taxation is very low. But in UK, the taxation amount is very high. In these days, Afghanistan is on higher side of the talk. So let's look at Afghanistan, right? So if we talk about the taxation, we need to inform the people, we need to inform people that okay, the taxation rate of Afghanistan, the UK currently is at 90%. I'm just giving you an example. This means this means 144 rupees of tax. This means the profit after tax is just around 26 rupees, 153 rupees of tax. Okay, 153 rupees of tax. So this means that if the taxation amount is 90%, this means 17 rupees is just being earned. So we should not adopt this strategy. So it is not just profit, but the taxation amount should also be considered when you are evaluating the proposed acquisition. Do you get this? Do you get what I'm trying to explain? It was such an easy example, right? So let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's see. Sir, but the text is anything which is beyond the entity's control. So if we consider any business in beta, you are about to buy a company and in another country. Now, if you buy another country's company, you know it very well that the taxation amount of that country is historically on the higher side as compared to our country. So even if you earn higher amount of profits in that country, you will still be having lower amount of disposable revenues. This means that at the end of the day, although it seems that the profitability is on the higher side of that company, but due to the fact, but due to the fact that you are paying more amount of taxation to that country's taxation authority, it will have a negative impact on the profitability. Right, Yusuf? So you will have to consider every single thing when you are taking the proposal of acquiring another company in another country. See, this is just the same. For example, if I tell you you own a restaurant in let's suppose in Pakistan, you own a restaurant in Pakistan, you pay 30% as taxation, and you are earning, let's suppose, 100 rupees before tax. You want to own a restaurant in UK. Now in UK, the taxation amount is 50%. This means that even if you earn around, if you are paying 30% tax in Pakistan and the taxation rate of UK is 50%, even if you earn 20% extra amount of profit in UK, this is just equivalent to the profitability in Pakistan. So you need to consider the other aspects as well and not taking the decision only on the amount of profit. Is it clear now? Yes, please. Okay, I guess now it's clear and I cannot explain it more in further details. I have given ample amount of explanation. Right, now let's move to the report format. Report format, basically you will start with true two, that is the addressee. No, jokes apart, is it clear to everyone? Yusuf, is it clear now? Good. Yes, yes. So you will be making two from, yes, Shahrukh, you are right. Yes, Vaji. Yes, please.
Sir, what if interest rates are not incorporated while calculating discount
Obviously, if
factor
the
rate?
interest rate are if the interest rate is not incorporated, in fact, it is not the interest rate. I have told you
Taxation
before,
rate, tax
if they have just
implications.
given you the cash flows and not the discounted cash flows, this means that the interest rate is not incorporated. So you will write this as a weakness that the interest rate is not being incorporated while evaluating the financial statement or the data relating to financials. Right? Now it says that you need to follow the report format from subject, keywords, date, introductory paragraph, body of a paragraph. Conclusion or recommendation is not required in report until and unless you are being asked. Hasnan, just focus on what I'm trying to explain, right? Conclusion and recommendation is not required unless you are being asked in the question. Now, what is skepticism? Skepticism, ask question or challenge someone's view on the opinion with the fact and figure in order to present the complete issue, picture, or issue. That is, hint, adopt a questioning tone in your answer. Use word like I disagree, it seems incorrect, or it is not clear, or should be further investigated. These are the skepticism tones. Now, the question that relates to skepticism is examination question number one, financial projections. I don't know why there is so much of spacing. Okay, financial projection, SBL March, June 2009, Smartware, question number 4B. CB, now I have drafted the particular, what do you call, the particular exhibit that is only required to be read. That is exhibit number 7. CB platform only read the introductory paragraph, the question, and the exhibit number 7. But examiner often provide conclusion and answer in report format. Yes, examiner often provide, but if it is required. In those questions in which the examiners have answered, you need to make sure that the examiners, if the examiner is providing, then there will be some recommendation being required at the end of the question. Now, this is the report format I have shown you before: memo format, presentation slide format, letters format, press release, business case model, that is project initiation document, weakness recommendation, risk mitigating factors, and last but not the least, the professional marks are being allocated at the end of the day. I was expecting that today's class will take more time, but good. Okay, and now the fact is that we need to go through two different things. Now, one thing that I would want to do, one exercise that I would want to do right now. How many of you have attempted CC's question? Please let me know. How many of you have attempted CC's question? They have gone through the CC's question. Please, can everyone tell me how many of you have attempted CC's question? At least you have gone through the question. If you have not attempted it, have you gone through it? Okay. Okay. So I guess majority of you, good, Muhammad Fala. Good. Yes, you have gone through. Yes, you have gone through. Now, actually, why you have read it? Actually, you have read the CCs, that is Cofold companies question. Why am I asking this? Is because I want you all to solve. Sorry, I want you all to go through the CC's uh, examiner report. Let me show you the examiner report of CC's company, and let me show you the examiner's report of CC's company. Just a minute, please. I'm downloading it. Just a minute, please. Skepticism. Sir, in skepticism skill, we challenge someone's view or disagree. So we need to give reason why we disagree or seems incorrect. For example, linking with the case. Obviously, skepticism means professional shock. And by professional shock, I mean that you will be challenging, but in a very polite tone and in a very polite manner. Now, this is the examination report If you are unable to find out any reason why you are showcasing or why you are going through the skepticism skills, this means that there is nothing wrong in that strategy, or there is nothing wrong in that comment, or there is nothing wrong in the proposal that is being presented. It means that your skepticism is not justifiable now. Do you get this? If there is nothing, if you can't find any point of raising a question, this means that you should not disagree. This means that everything is perfectly fine, right? Okay, so this is the examiner comment, a very generic comment. I will share this report with you all as well. But I need to tell you something. If you are reading this comment, trust me, all those students who have basically um, been with me in my regular classes, they will get to know whatever I used to speak, it was from these comments, right? So let's go through the general comments first. Format of the examination. The examination consists of 4 hours with a single compulsory section about the construction company Cofold Construction. The marking scheme include 80 technical marks for the correct use and application of the technical knowledge. For every element of technical content, answer need to be applied to the case. Answer need to be applied to the case. This means that if you are not applying your answers, if you are not linking your answers with the case study, you are doing a blunderous mistake. In addition, the marking scheme include 20% marks for professional and skills and competence. The particular skill being examined in the requirement should be evident in how candidate answer the questions. Although candidates may draw other skills as well when answering. When awarding professional skill marks, markers will look primarily at professional skill being tested in the questions requirement. This means that if you are being told to write a skepticism skill and you are showcasing skepticism along with communication, this is something good, but you will be only getting marks on skepticism skills, right? But they will also look at the general professionalism that the candidate are demonstrating. This is something, a general guidance that is being provided. Exam performance. Stronger candidate integrated and use the stronger candidate integrated case studies. If you are not linking with the case study, you are doing a blunder. If you are not linking with the case study, you are doing a blunder. Integrated and use the case study material throughout their answer to this exam. Selecting relevant technical knowledge to support the applied point. This means model they were making. They demonstrated professional skills through analysis and discussion, and how they structured and presented this answer. Weaker candidate used pre-learned knowledge as the basis for their answers and did not integrate or apply the case material adequately. Some seem not to have read the guidance produced by ACCA nor worked through the specimen examination. Why is he saying specimen examination? Because September 2018 was the first attempt of SBL, and this is the first detailed examiner comment that is being provided to you all. Candidate must spend sufficient time reading and assimilating the case study material. Often answers failed to make sufficient reference to the material or focus too much on one exhibit. The exhibit will provide the material that underpins the applied point that candidate should be making, include necessary background information and explanation, help candidate to decide how to plan their answers, highlight the most important issues that the answer should cover. These are generic points. Candidates should read the exhibit with the requirement of every question in mind, as this will help them identifying which question will be drawing on the material in each exhibit. In this exam, for example, the extract from the annual report, Exhibit 1, provided information that was relevant throughout the exam. This means that financial statement was relevant, annual report was relevant throughout the exam, means in all question. means in all questions. Right? Candidate must also spend sufficient time planning to ensure that the answers are produced in logical order. Cover the most important point and avoid unnecessary overlap. Don't overlap your answers. Don't write. I have and the number of papers that I've checked till now, majority of candidates, what they are doing is they are writing two different things with two different, sorry, one single thing with two different wordings. For example, there is a profitability decline in the company. It seems that the cost of the company is increasing. Now, these two things can be dealt at the same line, or these two things are giving us the same conclusions. For in first paragraph, the candidate is writing the profitability of the company is declining. Now, in the second paragraph, the candidate is writing the cost of the company is increasing. Now, there might be a third paragraph as well in which they say the cost is increasing, that is why the profitability is declining. Now, you don't need to overlap your points, right? And this is something which you are just trying to increase the length of your answer, and you are trying. You feel that the examiner or the invigilator or the person who is reading your answer is a fool, and he'll not get to know that it's just to increase the length and not the qualitative answers that you have provided. Question one of this exam, for example, required simple single briefing paper with two parts. The focus of the second part, let me first read this, then I'll come to your questions. Fourth paragraph, fourth para, the sales are declining and therefore the profit. The focus of the secondary part, requirement B, should have been on what was covered in the press release, that is exhibit number 2, and these matters should therefore have only been referred to briefly in the first part of the paper. So he's talking about the specific requirement. Generally, candidate answered all four questions, though there were some evidence of shortage of time. Examiner report 2018. Now, when answering the final question, most often question number 4, it was noticeable, however, that the quality, last question will always deteriorate the quality of the answers. Quality of some candidate answered tailed off towards the end of the exam, which is an indication that they had run out of time or stamina. Candidates are strongly recommended to take mock exam before they actually sit in the exam. This is what I'm providing you in full exam condition to get use of the demand and the concentration, thinking and writing that 4 hour exam makes. Mostly candidate answer the question in order. Where they did not, they appeared to be leaving one question which they liked least till the end. Candidate whose answer were out of order. Now this is important. Candidate whose answers were out of order tended not to appreciate the timeline of the case and produce answers that were more theoretical. It is recommended that candidate answer the requirement in order, as future exam may follow a timeline as this exam did, or have question requirement that progress in other way. Now, by this statement, he means to say that the order of the question, that is question number 1, part A and part B, should be all together. You can solve question number 1 on the first page and question number 2 on the last page, and in between question 3 and 4, that is equally good. But doing question number 1A on the first page and doing question number 1B on the last page is a blunder, and you will fall short of time if you are going to go through this strategy. Technical marks. To gain each technical marks, candidate need to make point that addresses the requirement of the question, considering the scope of your answer required and what questions verb indicate should be provided. Obviously, about analysis, evaluation, every single communication, every single word. Apply to the organization featured in the case study, are specific to the decision and situation covered in the question. Show the reader why the point is being made is significant to the given circumstances. Demonstration of the technical knowledge or explanation of theory will not score marks in this exam. Demonstration of just technical knowledge or explanation of just the theory will not score. So if I am just writing what TOES model is, if I am explaining what pestle model, you don't need. I have seen many candidates doing this blunder. What do they do is, they, rather than evaluating, rather than making the situation go along with the pestle analysis, or connecting the situation with the pestle analysis, what do? Political means that something that relate to the politics of the economy. The politics of the economy can be good and bad as well. The politics of the economy is totally dependent upon the government policy. Now this is bullshit. You are not being required to give answers on what political, what economical, what social, what technological, what ecological, or what legal factors are. This is being known by the examiner. This is being known by a student who have started ACCA. You are at the end of the ACCA. You need to connect your answer with the case study rather than just defining. You don't need to define anything, any model. This is not allowed, and you will not be getting any answer, any question, sorry, marks on this. Weaker candidates saw, and this, see, this is a boring exercise right now that I'm doing, but this will do wonders for you. And in tomorrow's class as well, I'll do this exercise. And when we are meeting for one physical class in the next week, I will do this exercise once again. And when we are meeting for one hybrid class in the next week, I'll do this exercise once again. Make sure that you are not explaining points of theory, you are not explaining Mendel's matrix model, you're not explaining SFA framework, you're not explaining these bullshit things. You need to connect them. Basically, this is the way in which you piss off your examiner. You keep on explaining what suitability is. You keep on explaining what sort model is. They do not want you to explain this. They want you to connect this with the scenario. Now it says that weaker candidates saw trigger words such as big data and wrote all they knew about the topic without the application of the question requirement or CC situation. Living in a technical framework unnecessarily as the basis for the organization and answer led many candidates into forcing their answer to fit in the framework and crucially providing an answer that was not in the form helpful to its recipients. General remarks such as the company should consider health and safety or watch cost and the time carefully will be sufficient to gain mark as they apply to all the contract. Not just the one being considered. Candidate also often just repeated case material, and for example in question number 1A did not show clearly why data might impact the decisions of whether they accept. Now, this is something which many teachers are telling their candidates to follow. Now, I respect them all, but my viewpoint is different from those teachers. See, candidate often just repeated case material. You will not be getting marks on copy pasting. I don't know. I've heard many teachers explaining you can copy paste from the question. Just go and copy paste from the question. Now, this is something where I have a contradiction with those teachers. So follow what I'm trying to explain. Just follow, just follow what I'm trying to explain, and make sure that you do what strategy we are making. As then we are all, as then we all respect each other, and I respect their point as well. Let's move forward. In addition, up to 2 technical marks are very often available for developing points. You can see this. See, whatever. Then let's just focus on what we are trying to do right now. In addition, up to 2 technical marks are very often available for developing points. This can include evaluating how significant the points are, explaining the consequences they will have on supporting the points with example. Now, professional marks. See, sir, can someone explain me? Can someone explain me what do I mean to say, or is the examiner saying in this regard? Yes. Can someone explain me what I'm trying to explain in this point? What is the examiner's views? What is the examiner telling you? See, the examiner is saying that I will give 2 marks for developing 1 point. See, whatever I have told you right from the beginning of my session, I am about to end my session and I'm validating my points from the points that the exam being presented by the examiner. There is nothing that I gave, there's nothing that I've said by my own. You can see, you can evaluate it. And this is the first attempt, right? So we also got to know when we solved CC companies question. Now, professional skill marks, many candidate had clearly thought about the professional skill marks and attempted to present their answers in an appropriate tone or style as requested in each requirement. However, there were many instances where candidate paid no attention to the formats required, whether the format requested, the recipient will be helped by an answer that is presented clearly with headers throughout the answer and which avoid overlapping over long paragraph. Candidate also failed to consider the need and situation of the recipient, producing the same tone of answer for a junior staff of member. And this is something which I said right at the start of my session. And company's chairman, you are using the same tone. Okay, Mr. Junior, you need to do this. Okay, Mr. Chairman, you need to do this. Your tone should differentiate. This is what communication style is. Wearing the hat strategy. I've been shouting on this thing since way too long, right? Yes, Yusuf. 2 marks for each relevant, 2 relevant marks for 1 point. So why we consider total marks for answer or points? Because technical marks will include professional marks and professional marks will include technical marks. So we will be adding up both the marks to get the maximum points or answers. Candidate need to explain points in a way that will enhance the understanding of the recipient, such as junior employees. Candidate must also address clearly what recipients most wish to be discussed, which may be specified in the case requirement. If the case requirement says that you need to evaluate on the fraudulent activities that is being carried out, and you are identifying risk, you are identifying internal controls, this means that you are not specifically answering what the requirement of the case study is. The requirement was that you need to follow, the requirement was that you need to follow the, that you need to follow the, you need to provide the fraudulent activities, right? Just a second, please. Okay, so moving further, I will explain it to you, Afan. I'll let you know in private. Yes, candidates should remember that they are carrying out a professional task that has a particular purpose for a defined user or stakeholders. Further comments on specific professional skills are given below. Now, I'm not going through the one-on-one question. You can go through the one-on-one examiner comments after you have done the entire set of paper. I will share this file with you all, and you will have an insight. See, my reason of reading this out is just to validate what I'm trying to explain, so that you can have a clearer viewpoint, you can have a clearer idea of what should be your strategy when you are planning to go and sit for your examination. Do you get this? Yes, please. Is everything clear to you all? Good. This isn't specimen. This is the first attempt of SBL, that is CC's company, September 2018. And I will share this specimen, this examiner report. You can easily get on the website of ACCAs as well. Now, my task of the day is that you need to solve, just a second, please. So we have gone toes, we have gone sort. Okay, what you need to do now, every single student who is sitting in front of me, they need to do one exercise. Now this is on you, and then at the end of the day, after you have done this, I will be solving that exercise. What you need to do, you need to solve the question on the financial projection, that is SBL March June 2019 smartware. But go on to the practice platform, select this question, and just select this question on the practice platform. I will also do the same. Select this question on the practice platform. This is practice exam number 3. Read exhibit, read the introduction, read question number 4A, 4B, and read only exhibit number 7. You just need to read only the exhibit number 7. Read through the question number 4B. The question is of smartware. No need to read the entire set of questions. No need to read the entire paper. Just read smartware question number 4B, and that is the exhibit number 7 only, and solve this question. It is right now, it is 8:36. I will resume my class. Do you all get this? Are you all in a position to solve this right now? Or should I read this for you? Yes, please. Should I read the question for you? Or do you want to read it by your own self, select the paper by your own, read it by on your own, and then start solving it? Yes, please. Good, good. I was expecting this answer. If any one of you would have said, no, sir, you read, then he or she would have been scolded by me. Right? So I was just checking if any one of you still is in a lethargic phase of saying, no, sir, you read the question and then we'll solve. This means that you are in no mood to clear this exam. Yes, Dhamki. Okay, so so I'm giving you ample amount of time. It's 8:37 right now. I will resume my class by 9:20. I will resume my class by 9:20. Go on, read your question, read your answers, solve it there and then come back and I'll show you my answer of smartware. Right? Yes, Hamza. Good way of making you understand the limitation thread. Yes, come on. Start your question, please. Okay, so have you all done? Yes. Are you all done with this? Good, good. So all of you who have completed the answer of this exam, you are requested to send me the answer, and I'll go through this. One more thing, unfortunately, I don't know why this platform is not opening. This platform is not opening on my PC, and I don't know why. So what I'm doing right now is, you can keep on continuing writing the answers. What I'm doing right now is that I'm sharing the entire set of answer with you. Let me share it there and then so that we may not face any difficulty. I'm sharing 2 to 3 different things with you all. I'm sharing the entire smartware answer that I have written so that you can easily go through this answer and have a better insight of what this answer is basically asking you to draft. So I've shared the answer onto the registered students uh, WhatsApp group. You can go through this basically this answer, and you can evaluate yourself. All those who have done the question, all those who have done the answers are requested to please send me, and whenever I'll get time, I'll check it. Acha, now there are some students who are constantly texting me and they are asking for their answers to be corrected. See, from 9 a.m. to 5:30, I'm in my office. From 6:30 to 9, in fact, till 10, till 11 o'clock, I'm with you guys. So I do not get time within these days. Once I'm done with the workshop, I will provide every single person with the possible answers that you want. So just have some patience. I know it is important for you. Afan, Afan, don't you have my number? You can share your answers on my WhatsApp on your WhatsApp group, and okay, Afan. Okay, so you can. I'll share my number. I'll share my number with you. I'm sharing my number over here. I'm writing my number. Right. So this is my number on which you will be contacting me and providing me your suggested answers. I hope so. That now we are at the end of the workshop. The promise that I kept with you all was that I will make you all revise all the core topics, and I will make you go through the areas of concern. So I have shared my number with you. You can share your answers, number one. And secondly, what you can do is keep on practicing as much questions as you can. And if you have any further issues, you can directly contact me. Now we are left with only one day of the workshop that will be held tomorrow. I do not intend to take a lot of your time, although we have completed the entire syllabus part, which I feel is the most important one. But tomorrow's day is also as important as the previous 4 days were. I have shared the smartware answers with you. Now I'm sharing the day 3 and day 4 handout as well. And basically, we have done past papers. So any answers that you want, I will share it with you all. Right. So let's call it a day today, and we will be meeting in tomorrow's class. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.